Hello everybody, what is up? Welcome to the Power Rangers Dino Charge live Q&A presented by the St. John the Baptist Parish Library. I'm your host, Secoria Bolden, and I'm super excited about this program. The library has been celebrating Power Rangers all month long with a grand display of Power Rangers memorabilia and collectibles throughout the library from my own personal collection. And if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you, this Sunday, August 28th, 2022 will mark the 29th anniversary of the Power Rangers debut in 1993. Yes, so with that said, it is with my greatest pleasure and honor to introduce you to Mr. Brennan Mejia, the Dino Charge Red Ranger, and Mr. James Davies, the Dino Charge Black Ranger. So hello, Mr. Brennan. Hello, Mr. James. How are y'all doing today?
Doing great. By the way, I love the background that you have. That was a nice surprise. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Oh, thank you for joining us, James. How are you doing? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. Okay,
can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
What's up?
Rocker, what's up?
I like your shirt.
I like your face.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. My brain was like, it's going to see your face.
Yeah. We've known each other for about, what, 9 years now? So
don't say it's been that long, James.
Hi, Secoria. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. Thank you. It's a beautiful morning here in Auckland, New Zealand. And how did you get in the Dino base?
Well, Sledge was already trying to break in, so I said, let me slide in with him.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. He's like, I'm going anyway. We can split the Uber fare, you know? So.
Yeah, and, you know, I told him I'd be a great help to him. I bagged the Energems and just, you know, yeah. So I was a little bit bad with him, but, you know, we're all good now. But, well, for starters, I want to know, how does it feel to be celebrated by fans young and old during Power Month? It's kind of like Veterans Day for Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, James actually writes me daily messages telling me, like, it's so cool that I'm a Power Ranger and that he wants to be the Red Ranger too. And I just thank him every day. And I'm like, James, I mean, it's okay that you're not red. Like, the Black Ranger is awesome. I actually have the Black Ranger as well, but I wasn't as good as him, so I didn't get it.
You know what? And he's so good at replying to my messages as well. So thank you so much, Brennan, for inspiring me that I can, you know, get to that Red Ranger status.
Hey, one day, Red Ranger bring the danger. No, but in all honesty, it's amazing. Like, being in this fandom, having been, still am a fan of it myself. I mean, there's nothing like it. Like, you hear about toxic fandoms that love you when their show goes the way they want it to, and then the moment a movie or one episode isn't how they want it to be in their mind, they turn kind of fast. And Power Rangers is really largely supportive regardless. Like, even if they're like, oh, that wasn't my favorite episode, but thank you so much anyway. Like, we loved your energy. You inspired us, blah, 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 teamwork, you know, help us through a dark time in high school or middle school or whatever. And, you know, it's just super uplifting to know that we're actually hopefully making a positive influence for people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's beautiful to be a part of something which shares such great messages to people of all ages. Either something that people haven't learned before, you know, morals, ethics, or something, you know, that will just remind somebody of something really important, really special. So, I think it's a privilege to be a part of such a long running show, really, with such great morals. It's good. I like it.
Good.
Yeah, well, I think you could tell us, how did you both end up auditioning for Power Rangers, and what was the audition process like?
You want to start us off, James? Because our audition is
sure.
different, because he auditioned in New Zealand and I did in California.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, it was quite a strange time for me. I was growing through some things and personal things, and I was questioning whether I should whether acting is something that I should be going around. What's this high five thing, Brennan?
I was gonna say stand up.
Question?
I can't see your shirt. I mean, I know what it is. I saw the top, but I want just people to.
Oh, I love it. I need one.
I know.
I think who made these, Brennan?
I got the rights from the guy who made them, so I sell them through my Twitch account shop.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So you can get them at Brennan's Twitch account.
Go on though with your story.
Maybe I'll get another one. Yeah, so it was kind of like, am I gonna do this? Am I not? And obviously I did. But it was quite funny. Like Power Rangers has been auditioning in New Zealand for years now because it films here. Yeah, so it was just kind of another Power Rangers audition. I've done maybe one or two before years ago. I was in the UK, funnily enough, for about 4 years before.
What was your stage name?
My stage name, and we're getting off topic, Brendan.
No, not. It's very prevalent to the story.
My stage name, actually, because James Davies was taken in the UK, I changed it to Brennan Davies, funnily enough, before I met Mr. Brennan Mejia.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. And it's a very cool name.
I know. You wear it so well.
Oh, thanks, man. Right back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of another audition, and I went forward, and yeah, it went pretty good. It was, auditions are funny because I think it's not about caring less, but it's just about getting yourself to a point where you're just relaxed, and sometimes that does mean that you're like, whatever happens is all good, whatever. And then they started calling me back, and I was like, oh, and that's when you get to like, oh, this could be something. This could, and then one of the last auditions, they asked me to wear black. I didn't even put two and two together. And which Brendan's probably like, how could you not?
I didn't say a word.
And yeah, so that was kind of there was about 3 or 4. So an initial audition, and then about three recalls after that. And the last one was with Chip Lynn, and yeah, so they must have already been over here. And so that was a bit scary. And yeah, so that was kind of it. It got more and more real as it went on to, opening a box and having this big reveal, and which you may or may not have seen on YouTube. Yeah. Go, Brennan.
Okay. For me, I auditioned initially for Power Ranger Samurai, and I like how you said recalls. Like we call them callbacks, but I want to start calling them recalls. So I had
callbacks.
Whatever, recalls for Samurai, and I was super pumped. And like James said, it doesn't necessarily help. Like it's okay to want it, but if you want it too much, you almost repel it because you give off like this nervous energy. At least I do, apparently. And so I was a bit too, I don't know. I wanted the job too much, and I was like, what can I do better? And like doing this martial arts demonstration, I did like way more than I should have. And like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just throwing extra punches of like, well, if 1 punch is good, then 10 punches is better. Like I was just like too, but I was really sad when I didn't get it. And then I didn't want to audition for them anymore. And I was working at the San Diego Zoo full-time, 7 days a week during a summer contract as an acrobat. And then a buddy of mine that I knew from an acting class 3 years previous called me, and he's like, hey, I'm in an audition, and right next door they're auditioning Power Rangers. I saw on the door, and I walked in and I talked to the casting directors and told them I have a circus friend, aka me, and I think you'd be good for it, and they want you to audition. And so like I was already jaded. I was like, they've seen me for Samurai. I mean, I don't know if they remember who I am, but whatever, fine, I'll try. And then like I just didn't care as much because like they already rejected me years ago, so it broke this like need to impress them. And then I kept getting callback after callback after callback, recall, sorry. And then they asked me to wear different color shirts. I did actually audition for James's character as well, but he was better, so I didn't get it. And then like, fine, I'll just give you red. That's left over. So
what do we got left out the back?
Red. Oh, fine. Okay, take the skill. They called me in for one final round, and it was a fake audition because they're like, hey, so here's your script. You don't have time to go out and read it. Just do it right now, which never happens. like as a cold read. I was like, okay. So I started reading it in the audition room for the first time ever with these new lines. And they're like, okay, here's a magical box, open to reveal your destiny or something like that. And then the casting director actually handed me a box. So I'm like trying to figure out what the heck is happening. I'm like trying to stay in character. And I opened the box and it said, congratulations, you're the Red Ranger, because we had no other colors available because James was black, except that last part didn't say that. But the other parts were true. So, and that's what happened. And then a few months later, we went to New Zealand and I met this guy, and now we still know each other.
Yeah, well, that all worked out for the best, right? And
yeah,
you guys mentioned that your season was filmed in New Zealand. And I know, James, you're from there, so it wasn't that big of a change for you. But Brennan, you had to pack up and move to film the season. So I bet that was a big adjustment. And the next thing I want to know is, what do you think? What was a typical day like on set of Power Rangers? Was it tiring? Was there long days? You know, how did that go?
All of the above. James, go explain.
Yeah, don't. You know, when you're going into film, it's a challenge for a lot of reasons, but obviously challenges can be extremely good, and usually are. Don't expect to do anything less than a 10-hour day.
Mm-hmm.
10, 12 hours is, and you're not constantly on set the whole time, but you may be, I don't know, going to wardrobe, going to, just whatever. You're kind of always on. You've got to figure out how to rest and get good at resting in the weirdest, strangest moments. Like, oh my goodness, Yoshi, he can sleep like anywhere.
Yeah, they're like, Yoshi, we need you in 2 minutes. Okay, and he's just out. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. Like,
I got a minute and a half. Go.
These moments and past. No, you're right.
Yep. No, go on, man. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, running around to wardrobe, whatever. Like, we didn't just go to wardrobe for like wardrobe fittings, but James and I and Yoshi, we would go to the wardrobe, and some of the others, we would go during our lunch break to do pull-ups, like on the bar that they had in the wardrobe room that they hung clothes on, because you had to find time to fit in your workouts. And sometimes we'd get home and we were too tired, or you still have to learn your lines for the next day, regardless of what you're shooting on the day. So it's just like, if you want to, stay in quote unquote Ranger fit shape, you got to like squeeze it in when you can. So we would be doing like sets of push-ups between camera setups. I started, college the last few months while filming out there, or continuing it. So I was doing online courses between camera setups as well. But you just gotta make good use of your time, because it can very easily slip away while you're in this brain fog of being kind of like chronically sleep deprived during a season,
Yeah.
And then Brennan afterwards discovered coffee.
After, it's true. I didn't drink coffee while we filmed. I did for the Beast for time though.
Yeah. Well, inquiring minds want to know, did you guys watch Power Rangers growing up? And if so, do you have a special memory of being a fan, both as a child or even from being an actor on the show? I know that here at the library, reading and literacy skills are very important to us. So I want to know, what do you guys think the impact that Power Rangers leaves on, what did it leave on you, and what do you think it still leaves on children of today and fans across the decades that have watched the show?
Okay, so what impact does it have, and then the reading one?
Yes.
And did you watch?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I mixed that up.
No, you're fine. It's three wonderful questions all in one little lovely package.
Yeah.
Or big package, whatever. So I watched the movies, especially the one. So my sort of the main memory I have of Power Rangers was the one with Ivan Ooze and Tommy when he was the White Ranger. I thought that was just super cool. Dinosaurs. I don't know if like it's every young boy's dream to, I don't know, dig up a dinosaur or something like that, but it was, I still love paleontology and stuff. So, that sort of dinosaur stuff is just like on the money for me. It's awesome. So yeah. And actually, was it dinosaur stuff for them? It was, eh?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, I mean, the movie Ivan Ooze, they switched to like animal spirits because they lost.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it was
the originals. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you clarified because the fandom was gonna come back.
Hey, I know these
Yes.
things. Yeah. And James caught himself too.
Yeah. But yeah. So but yeah, that's the sort of the main thing I watched. Yeah, what was the other one? Oh, reading. Reading is just ridiculously important. It's something part of my business. I'm actually hoping to start a reading group, working on scripts, working through scripts and things. And it's just it's not necessary. You hear about some people that just, one person in particular I'm thinking of, I think they had somebody work through a script with them because they found it more challenging to read. But if you can work on your reading skills, not only will it help your reading, your retention of what you're reading and understanding the articulation of actually what's going on within a script, but it's just a really lovely skill to have, right? It's so healthy for your brain. I saw something the other day of watching a movie. You saw like a little thing of a brain with like a tiny little bit of what do you call it, action or whatever going on in the brain.
Yeah.
And then you see another brain and it's like underlying reading or something, and the whole brain is kind of lit up. So and so it's
with subtitles.
What's that? Sorry.
Watch TV with subtitles so your brain lights up.
So you're doing both.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. What was the other one?
The impact. The impact. What did it leave on you, and what do you think it still does for children watching it today?
I think it's many things all in one. I mean, one of them is meeting people and working with people such as Brennan. We're great friends now, even though I would love to see him more often, and hopefully we'll. Yeah, and working with yourself, Sikoria. We may have never worked together, if the Power Rangers thing hadn't happened potentially, and yeah, I mean it's probably one of the most challenging series you can get involved with that I know of in possibly the world, because of the time and the how quick everything sort of rolls over. And the challenges you face. So it's awesome. Plus all of the wonderful things that you get to share, all the wonderful messages that you get to be a part of, rather, obviously, and the people that you meet on set. So it's lovely, it's challenging, and it's a real privilege. So go Brennan.
I did grow up watching Power Rangers since Mighty Morphin. I think I kind of stopped watching it religiously after Lost Galaxy, and then I kind of jump back in occasionally. And then when I booked it, I rewatched a bunch of different episodes from different seasons, watched Time Force, watched the Super Sentai of our own season. I also watched the movies, and I had a green Power Ranger come to my birthday party, or not, I thought he was Tommy, but he wasn't, obviously. Some cosplayer person that my mom hired.
What?
Yeah, no, I was in it, man. I went to a Morphicon before I was a Power Ranger, just like as a guest, because my buddy Steven Lunsford was a Red Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, so he was actually invited to Morphicon. I wasn't. I just tagged along to see him at Morphicon. And then, a couple years later, I was announced at Morphicon alongside James. So it was just amazing. I felt like all that time, parents are like, stop watching so much TV. And most of the time they're right. But in my case, it was all research for becoming a Power Ranger. And I didn't know it at the time. So it was like a blessing in disguise. Yes. And then reading, super important, as James is talking about. I mean, comprehension with scripts in our career field. And also I do a lot of studying of kinesiology, body movement. Literally my iPad is on top of 3 fitness books right now to make this eye level. So I got a strengthening and conditioning book, one about mobility, one on human anatomy and physiology. And I just go back and reread a lot of these books when I have free time, if I forget something. Because I train other people sometimes, and I train myself obviously a lot. So I want to brush up on what did I say? And I keep notes, the phone is amazing. I literally have a note in here from when I took a class like 3 years ago, and it just saves all of it. So I'll like type in, plyometrics, and I took such good notes. I was so proud of myself, and I just carry it around. I have them with me anytime. So make sure you keep up with your reading, everyone. And then the impact it's had is amazing. I mean, again, it inspires people, I think, to not just rely on yourself. Like Power Rangers is very big about pushing the teamwork idea, that all of us are different, but that's a good thing. You don't have to be like the person next to you to matter. Like James's character Chase or my character Tyler are very different characters, but both are, quote unquote, like superheroes. We both save the day and we'll put ourselves in harm's way to save someone else, but our personalities are different, but both equally valuable and valid,
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that. Next question is, did you have a favorite monster or villain on your season?
Yeah, Coda was probably my favorite villain. Lord Arcanon was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
I like.
He was gnarly.
Yeah, him or Snide, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking Snide. Yeah, he's quite like jaggedy, and I did like the way that he was played as well. He really, really cool.
Doomwing was cool. I mean, I like Sledge as well, but I don't know. Like, I know it depends on your individual sense of humor, but like sometimes when the it is a kids show, but it's for all ages at the same time. The Poisandra Sledge like banter would sometimes get like a little too campy for me versus like, no, we're villains, we're taking over the universe. Like, I don't know. I just wanted the villain to be a villain, but I know it was kind of like a throwback to Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa. So, but it just depended on my mindset in that particular day. Like, but I like the villains who were like super villainous because then it like, I don't know, made me feel better about fighting them versus like, I mean, Sledge has like a wife. I don't want to like, I don't want to fight
that. He's got a wife and kids at home.
Yeah, no kids, but he had a wife. I was like, but the wife is bad too. So I don't know, it was an internal conflict. So.
Brennan, what about the time that that your character became a T-Rex for a while?
I don't think I was a bad guy. I just did. I was just like acting on instincts, like animal instinct.
Right.
Which had bad repercussions, but it wasn't like I'm going to go out to like conquer the world as a T-Rex or something.
That's true.
Or maybe I would. You never know.
Yes, love that episode. And that I do think that might have been a bit of a villain character. So I count that.
The jury's still out.
I count it. Okay. Well, next, what advice do you think you would give to an aspiring actor, even an actor who may want to audition for Power Rangers and be a Power Ranger one day? What skills would they need to come into that role or fill those boots? No pun intended.
James knows the things. James is he has a business like working with actors. So James.
I was gonna pass it to you first, Brennan.
Acting and physical abilities, and I think you both do them very well.
Well, I think Brennan and I were both accidentally preparing for the roles. Maybe Brennan not so much accidentally for Yonks with Brennan. I hope you don't mind me saying.
Whoa! Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I believe you trained in Krav Maga for Yonks, right? Was it Krav Maga?
Yes, for Yonks. Is that years?
Yonks, a long time.
Oh, yeah. So many Yonks. All the Yonks.
All of the Yonks. And so that no doubt would have been a huge help. And for me, it was more of a dance-based thing. I grew up dancing from the age
Such a good dancer. I envy your abilities.
Oh, dude. But I mean, the amount of times that I would be like, how do I make this not look dancey? Like, how do I stand in a stance that doesn't like, la?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a good challenge. And the advice, so yeah, just get involved with, I recommend that you get involved with something physical, just work on your physical health first, work on you, and then those tools will help for other jobs. with what was the other question? Oh, my advice. I think if I were to give anybody one piece of advice and only one, I would say don't rush. Don't be in a race with everybody else and comparing yourself with everybody else, because your time will happen. If you don't give up, your time will happen when it's the right time, not when it's most convenient to you. And that can be one of the most challenging things ever. But you learn a lot of patience, and in the process you just learn a ridiculous amount of epic stuff that you get to share and love on others and all of that stuff. Just learning to be happy for others and not jealous or anything like that. So take your time. And I know that can be a challenge with something like Power Rangers, because you know these people are usually kids, right, or teens. But for Brennan and I, we were in our 20s, right? So so I think maybe early to mid 20s when we were doing it. So don't feel like the goal, like don't focus on the goal so much as the journey to get to wherever you want to go, right?
And enjoy the journey, because the goal only lasts for such a small amount of time versus the time it takes to get there. So if you don't actually enjoy, like, this is what I tell people, like, who are trying to like go to the gym and get stronger or lose weight or whatever, like if you only look at the goal, it takes so long to get there often, but it takes, you know, the moment you get there is just a moment and then it's gone. Like, so you might as well enjoy the process or find a way to enjoy the process. Like, I literally just finished 2 auditions, self-tapes right before this that I got yesterday. So like, of course, you know, it always happens. Like when James was like, hey, weeks ago, are you free at this time? It's like, oh yeah, I have nothing going on. Yesterday, hey, you have 2 auditions. One's due Thursday, one's due Friday. It's like, of course I do. So I was rushing to finish them, and I had a meeting like with someone else for like adult money accounting things before that. And so I was just like, do I have enough time to do all this and still meet? And I did. But like, it's also, I try to make it fun. You know, I record myself saying my lines or playing the scene. So like I cleaned my floors today at my house. So I kept playing it in my headphones while I was doing these other things. So it was like just in the background, but lines can just, it's, you know, repetition. And it's kind of like, I compare it to choreography. Correct me if I'm wrong, because James is a much better dancer than me. But if you don't know the choreo, you can't add your own flavor to it until you have the choreo down. It's, you know, move left arm, right arm. If that's all you do, it's stupid. But then like you can like, you know, start putting energy into it once you know left arm, hold 2 beats, right arm, hold 2 beats. And there's a cadence with dialogue and being in the moment, but making it natural. It's like it's a paradox, like to make acting be in the moment, but be aware there's a camera here and that you can look in the lens, but ignore it, but don't ignore it because you need to know where your lighting is. But like, this is take number 34, but like to your character, it's the first time, but you learned these lines for 3 hours yesterday. Like all these weird things, and you have to like be in your head, but not in your head just enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's all great. Well, last question is, what's next for you, and where can fans follow you and keep up with you?
Go, Brennan.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll book one of these 2 auditions and I'll be on that next. No idea.
Do it.
Right. But I did a movie last year that's out, depending on the country or in different streaming services, but it's called Corrective Measures, and it stars Bruce Willis, Tom Cavanaugh, Michael Rooker, and some other awesome people. So that's on Tubi. Yeah, I'm in there too. I guess I could star in it. Whatever. That's weird to say. Yeah. So that's been like one of the latest projects, and then I do a lot of stunt work recently, as well in between acting jobs. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just auditions after auditions and that 1% chance, if that, of booking, because self-tapes are great, but now the pool of people you're auditioning against is exponentially greater versus whoever can get to the in-person audition in LA or New Zealand within, you know, an hour. Now it's like anyone can send in a tape. There's hundreds of people they're looking at potentially, but You just do your best and you enjoy the work, and then you forget about it and move on. And you don't expect them to call you. You hope they do, but that's, you know, you just enjoy the process. So. And you can find me on YouTube, Brennan Mejia, Instagram at Brennan Mejia, Brennan Mejia _ official on TikTok that I sometimes am on, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
James?
Awesome. So really what I've been doing for the last maybe 2-3 years is creating a business. I've been sort of getting these entrepreneurial juices flowing and learning a lot about business, which is really tough. Well, it's a good challenge. And so I started a business and movement called Healthy Artists, which I actually met Sequoia through. And what that really is working. It's a platform to work with artists from all over the world. So it's mostly online based, with a focus, of course, on quality coaching in predominantly acting at the moment, but with a focus on mental health. So who are you when you're not auditioning, when you're not in front of a camera, when you're not, whatever you're doing on stage, because people need to know how to be human beings first and get to know themselves, because I think there's a potential to get really lost in this industry when we're working on being so many other people.
Yep.
And it's only going to make the make the role even better, even more relatable, when you can put parts of yourself in the role, right? That's what we're meant to be doing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm God willing, it's going to grow to something massive. I think mental health is just such a massive, important thing in everybody's lives. And so it's really lovely to be working with people all over the world and encouraging them along their personal journey, whatever that particular thing is. So that's sort of like in a nutshell. Where you can find that, if you're interested, is Healthy Artists, so with an S at the end, movement. That's Healthy Artist Movement, and that's on Instagram. And then you can click on the link and find all the other things. And then I've just got to actually look at my Instagram. James_J Davies, spelled Davies, and that's my Instagram as well. So that's predominantly what I'm doing, and hopefully I'll be heading over to the States hopefully next year sometime, and give Brennan a high five in real life and meet you, Sequoia, in person, and and do some what do they call them? Conventions.
Oh yeah, that's Power Morphicon this weekend.
Oh heck yeah, man! What date is that?
It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
it's the first year back since the pandemic, so it's big.
Wow. Have an amazing time, Brennan. And Sequoia,
James, come out. It's not
I would love to. I would love to, man.
Yeah, awesome. James, Brennan, thank you both so much for hanging out with me today. This has been so much fun. And to all of you watching at home, thank you for joining us. You can catch up on all things Power Rangers by watching full episodes and seasons of the entire Power Rangers series, including Power Rangers Dino Charge, on the Power Rangers official YouTube channel. And that's not all. Please check out our digital library, Hoopla, and read up on our collection of Power Rangers comics from Boom Studios, and to dive deeper into the Power Rangers universe. Well, on that note, that's our program, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day, and happy Power Rangers Day. May the power protect you. Bye.